Morning, everyone. My name is Olivia, and my group will be talking about cultivation theory. So, I'm sure everyone agrees that we live in a world of media. Media is everywhere. It informs us, entertains us, and subtly shapes how we see the world. But have we ever stopped to ask how much of our reality is influenced by what we watch, consume every day? That's where cultivation theory comes in. Introduced by George Gerbner in 1960s, this theory explores how repeated long-term exposure in media, especially television, can gradually shape our perceptions, beliefs, and even fears. Today, we will uncover the origins and the evolution of this theory, break down its key ideas, reflect on criticism it has received, and explain how it still matters in our digital age. By understanding how media cultivates our collective reality, we can become more aware of how the invisible influence it holds over our thoughts and behavior. Now I'll pass the floor to Leon to further explain on the origin, history, and backstory.
Hello, my name is Leon. Uh, the part is about origin, history, and backstory. So the first is the origin. So let's review origin of the cultivation theory. This theory was derived by George Gerbner, a communication theorist in the late 1960s. He was interested in one key question: how does long-term exposure to television shape our view of reality? He proposed that television doesn't change belief overnight. Instead, it cultivates or slow grow certain ideas in the minds of viewers over time. And then, in order to understand why cultivation theory was needed, we must look at how television becomes such a powerful medium. In the early 1950s, only 9% of American homes had TV, but after 1952, the FCC ending the channel freeze and give license to CBS, NBC, and ABC, allowing them to dominate the airways with similar programs. So, by the 1960s, 90% of homes had television. Television quickly became the centerpiece of living room, shaping how millions of Americans saw the world. The last is about the cultivation's backstory. In the late 1960s, America faced growing social unrest, including the Vietnam War, civil rights struggles, and urban violence. Television aired the 8 to 10 violent story per hour during prime times, causing public anxious. In 1967, President Lyndon B. Johnson formed the National Commission on the Cause and Prevention of Violence, calling NCPV. Gerbner and his team were asked to explore how media may be contributing to this fear. They launched the Culture Editor project, analyzed thousands of TV exposed with a method called Message System Analysis. So, in 1969, Gerbner introduced the metaphor of cultivation, where TV pro but general shape how we see the world. So by 1976, the term cultivation theory was officially used in the paper Living with Television, co-written with Rory Gross.
I'm Wang Siqi. The cultivation theory was proposed by Gerbner in the 1960s. He said that television affects how people see the world. As the variety of content increased, people began to choose their own content. After 20s, researchers paid more attention to how people remember and understand information. Now, we believe that each person's personality, culture, and the content they are exposed to will influence each other.
My name is Hanko Yi. Now I want to present the important notion and concept. This theory suggests that long-term exposure to media, especially TV, shape how we see the world. A key idea is mainstreaming, where people from different backgrounds form similar view because they see the same media message. Another is resonance, where media contents match personal experience, making it feel more real. It also highlights first order effect, general belief like crime level, and second order effect such as attitude toward gender or authority. Main absorption of the theory. The theory assumes TV is society master storyteller, reinforcing common value through repetition. Heavy viewers are more affected, especially if they lack real-life experience. This can lead to effects like mean world syndrome, where people believe the world is more dangerous than it is. In short, cultivation theory show how media quietly shape our perception over time.
Hi everyone, my name is Atina, and now I'll be talking about the key criticisms of the cultivation theory and why many scholars today find it less relevant. So, Gerbner came up with this theory in the 1960s when TV was the main source of media. He believed that heavy TV viewers would start to see the world as more scary and more violent based on what they watch. But today, critics say that this idea is so outdated. For example, scholars Mustavaj and Vanderbalk pointed out that the media today isn't one size fits all anymore. We're not just watching the same shows on TV, we're choosing what we want to watch whenever and wherever we want to. So, media effects vary a lot depending on cultural context and also the national context. The next big critique is about how active we are as viewers. Based on scholars Herman and colleagues, they found out that personalized content on social media can actually have stronger effects. And this is because people are intentionally choosing what resonates with them. And that idea is very different from Gerbner's idea of a passive audience. And lastly, Schramm criticized the theory's method. Most cultivation studies rely on correlations and not causation, which shows a relationship but can't prove cause and effect. He argued that things like personal experiences or personality could explain beliefs much better than just media exposure. So, overall, while cultivation theory was groundbreaking for its time, it needs to be updated to match how we interact with the media today. Thank you so much for listening, and now we can move on to the next slide.
Firstly, the theory must begin by rethinking its foundational model. It is no longer satisfied to rely on television-based logic. Instead, it should incorporate the algorithms, user behavior, and platform structures. The focus must shift towards understanding how individuals construct their worldviews within the increasingly personalized media environments. Secondly, the impact of the algorithms must be acknowledged. Social media platforms now reinforce users' existing beliefs, often resulting in echo chambers and ideological polarization. I noted the theory must respond to fragmented and customized content that differs the model information consumption. Thirdly is the psychological effects of the idealized media. Platforms like Instagram tend to present the rated and unrealistic portrayal of life, which can lead to dissatisfaction or emotional distress. Future research should therefore investigate the contrast between the appearance and the reality and the psychological consequences. Lastly, the rise of immersive media technology, such as the VR and AR, transforms how users interact with the content rather than passively consuming media. Users now enter and experience it. This shift enhances the emotional resonance and belief the formation, which follows a clear process that immersion leads to emotion and emotion leads to cognition.
So my name is Noormina Zuleika, and I'll be concluding this presentation. So to sum up, cultivation theory has helped us understand how media, especially back in the days, television, can shape how people view the world over time. While media today has changed with a lot of algorithms and personalized platforms, the core idea of the theory still remains very important. It reminds us that what we consume over time can influence our beliefs, fears, and even values. But rather than discarding and replacing the theory in a whole, we should adapt it to and change it to fit today's media environment by evolving, with technology and all the other methods mentioned earlier. Cultivation theory can still continue to be a very useful tool to understand how media's powerful role in shaping our reality. So I think our biggest takeaway from this whole presentation is that to stay relevant, cultivation theory must not be replaced, but instead reimagined in this digital age. And that is all we have for you today. Thank you very much for your time.